Good afternoon and welcome to St. Newsfile. I'm DJ Todd. Ethan Montague will have a look at the latest sports highlights later today, but first, what can we expect, Ethan?
Well, we've got lots of great action in the hockey world, but we're going to start off with a little trip to Lake Louise.
We will also have a look at weather with Will Manzik later today, but first, here are our top stories. The Alberta Children's Hospital is currently at full capacity as the number of kids with illness continues to rise. Families have faced extreme wait times due to the situation, with some having to wait up to 17 hours just for a doctor. Children's Operations Officer Margaret Fullerton says staff are working around the clock to lower wait times. She also says they will be able to send teenagers to adult hospitals if it's needed to help with the situation. The Children's Hospital has also been facing staff shortages due to workers getting sick. Crime rates in Calgary have skyrocketed in the last year. Murder rates are particularly high, and that's impacted Calgary's safety and peace of mind. As Tone Arma reports, police say they are doing their best to make quick arrests.
Specifically, murder rates have impacted Calgarians concerning their safety and peace of mind. The Calgary police have been investigating these murders, but police have not gotten to the bottom of it.
The past 2 weeks has been an extremely busy time for our investigators and the numerous organizational areas that support these investigations, given the 6 homicides. Our teams have been working around the clock to further the investigations and bring closure to the cases as quickly as possible. These teams are relentless in their efforts to bring closure to them, and our thoughts are certainly with the family and friends of all those lost due to these tragic incidents.
Homicide rates in Calgary have gone up dramatically in the last 2 years. Since 2020, crime rates have gone up from 1.57% to 2.53%. And in 2021, there was 19 recorded homicides and 11 homicides in 2022 already recorded. For Federico Arigama, a local resident who lives on 17th Ave in downtown Calgary, has issues to why the Calgary police have not slowed down the crime rates, and says the police should be more focused on solving these murders than giving out speeding and parking tickets.
I think police should stop giving out tickets for no reason to people that speed. I'm not saying they're not doing their job, but I think they should focus more on the criminal stuff.
Crime rates have already gone up dramatically in Calgary, with 11 recorded homicides already recorded this year by Calgary police. Calgary police are on high alert through this pandemic to make sure all these crimes get solved immediately. For Sate's Newsfile, I'm Tone Arma.
The Calgary police have arrested a 13-year-old boy at Jack James High School following a stabbing on Tuesday. Officers responded to calls to Jack James High School in the 5100 block of 8th Ave Southeast around 1 p.m. yesterday. EMS says the 15-year-old victim only suffered minor injuries from the incident. He was then returned to his parents after it was concluded that a hospital visit wasn't necessary. After reviewing CCTV footage, officers were able to identify a potential suspect, where a 13-year-old boy was then taken into custody shortly after. The investigation is ongoing, but there are no further risks to students at the school. Calgarians are finding themselves more vigilant while walking around downtown and riding transit after an increase in random violence in the city. Brett Q joins us in the newsroom to tell us more. Brett, what can you tell us?
Hey DJ, downtown Calgary has seen a rise in crime lately, including shootings and stabbings. As the cold weather starts, many believe the incidents would go down, but they seem to be similar to the summer. Some Calgarians don't feel very safe while out and about. For some, it's as simple as going to a grocery store or even riding transit all hours of the day.
Because sometimes when I get into the train, I can hear people shouting, although I really don't care, but sometimes it can get scary because I come to class very early as a ordinary student, so sometimes it's scary, but it's okay.
You can see, DJ, that some Calgarians aren't worried but are mindful when riding transit.
Brett Q reporting live from the newsroom. Make sure to stay safe out there, especially when you're alone. One person is left in critical condition following a two-vehicle collision on a rural highway just north of Calgary. 3 people were injured in the crash on Tuesday, with only one in life-threatening conditions. The crash happened near Big Hill Springs Road and Range Road 24 around 4:30 yesterday afternoon. It was a two-vehicle collision that was reported around 4:30. Police closed the road until around 10 last night for the investigation. Officers told CTV News that 2 patients were taken to hospital from the scene, including an 18-year-old woman being flown by Stars to Foothills Medical Center in life-threatening condition. A 16-year-old girl was also transported to Foothills in serious yet stable conditions. These are today's top stories. We'll have your full forecast after the break. But first, Will Manzik will have a look at what's coming on Calgary this week.
Looking for a laugh? Well, then go check out comedian Mark Forward at the Laugh Shop from November 17th to November 19th. Tickets are only $15. Looking to watch some real magic at the Scotiabank Saddledome? Well, Disney on Ice is coming at the right time for you. Starting November 18th and going through to November 20th, Disney on Ice is guaranteed to show off something magical. Tickets start at $45. The Calgary First Aid Training School is offering more training in standard first aid and CPR. Tickets start at $130 and the program starts at 9 a.m. on November 17th. Oliver Samuel is returning to Alberta for the first time in nearly 2 decades, with his hit comedy play Guilty with Explanation on November 19th, starting at 7 p.m. at the Calgary Chinese Cultural Center. Tickets start at $65. Got a desire for the opera? Well, you're in luck. The Calgary opera Carmen hits theaters on November 19th through November 25th at Southern Alberta Jubilee Auditorium. Tickets start at $75.
Well, I may not be an opera singer, but I am the weather guy today. So let's take a look at the western part of the country. In Vancouver, we see it's the warm spot at +3 with some sun. Over in Edmonton, it's 0 with some clouds, and then a low pressure system with a cold front pushed forward through Saskatchewan and into Winnipeg. Winnipeg sits at -12, that's the lowest, with some flurries. Over into the eastern part, Toronto is also affected by this cold front and low pressure system. We see them sitting at -11 with some flurries. But then it gets warm the more northern we go, as Montreal, Halifax, and St. John's all sit around 0, and St. John's has even got some snow. Now let's take some sun. Now let's take a look down south where we'd all rather be.
The sun is shining bright down south. Palm Springs is sitting at 22 with sun. Barbados and Cancun are both 30 degrees and partly cloudy. Honolulu is 28 and sunny. Orlando is 27, but it's rainy, so get an umbrella. And in Las Vegas, it's 17 and sunny.
Here in Calgary, it's currently -1 with some cloudy skies. We got a 24-kilometer-an-hour wind coming from the north, and we got some sun coming up through the rest of the week. As you can see through the province, Banff is our cold spot at -12, and then Edmonton, Red Deer, and Calgary all sit at -1 with some cloud coverage. Up north, we see some snow in Fort McMurray and Grand Prairie. And then down by the south part of the province, Lethbridge and Medicine Hat sit at -5 and -6 with some sun in Medicine Hat. In Calgary, through the 5-day forecast tonight, we go down to a low of -14 with some snow. Tomorrow, we see a high of -8 with sun, and that sun sticks around through the rest of the week as we see the temperatures start to rise to those low to mid positives. We have a high of +5 on Monday, and that's the highest it's going to be. Ethan Montague has a look at the Lake Louise skiing story after the break.
Rupert's Land Institute is mandated to provide access to personal and career achievement to citizens of the Métis Nation of Alberta. Whether you're an entrepreneur just getting started, or someone looking to learn trade skills to enter the workforce, or a post-secondary student looking for funding, Rupert's Land Institute is here for you.
Come and learn the fast-paced world of television production. Find your passion to write, shoot, edit, and direct news, sports, and dramatic productions. With industry-standard technology and the best instructors in the business, SAIT's television production program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in broadcasting. This is television production. Come and dare to be on air.
Welcome back to St. Newsfile. Ethan Montague joins us now for a look at the latest sports highlights. What's happening, Ethan?
Well, the Flames snuck out a quick win the other night on Monday, but first we're going to start off in Lake Louise. Alberta ski fans are unlikely to see World Cup skiing in Lake Louise for the first time in 30 years. The World Cup has not scheduled any events for the ladies this year, and Canadian men's events are likely to be scheduled in Quebec due to discrepancies between the Cup and Alpine Canada. Some pros say they are hopeful to return to Lake Louise, but Alpine Canada does not share the same enthusiasm, calling the return to Alberta's slopes unlikely. The women of Troy are set to face off against Olds College tonight at 7. The ladies are coming off a tough 3-2 loss against the rival Red Deer College Queens. The Trojans went scoreless through the first period of that one, and Red Deer scored an early 2 goals to set the tone for the rest of the game. Cassie Gaudette, Jalen Bablitz, and Avery Lajeunesse led the team with a goal apiece. State goalie Kaylin Schellenberg managed to save an impressive 44 of her 47 shots that came her way, but without any defense in front of her, she could only do so much. And State's Rihanna Blight and Kiara Stewart both scored late in the third, giving State a bit of hope near the end, but Queen's goalie Madison Fox proved to be too much for State's offense, saving 17 of 19 shots against her. The Trojans won a nail-biter the last time they took on the Olds College Broncos in an exciting 5-4 shootout, which ended with a beautiful snipe from the Trojans' Asha Cayley beating newbie goaltender Sienna Kinghorn past the shoulder. The Calgary Flames managed to squeeze out a tight win over the LA Kings on Monday night. After seemingly running away with it, the Kings made things interesting. Jonathan Huberdeau opened the game with a last-chance shot from a slick pass from Rasmus Andersson in the corner into center ice, bringing the game to a 1-0 early lead. Markstrom had a quick save later, but after a pass from Kaliev, Arvidsson managed to fire one home, tying the game at 1 apiece. The Flames managed to take the puck off of Sean Dursey, and Lindholm took advantage, putting a shot on goal, but Quick stabbed it away, but Ruzicka snagged the loose puck and put it away. The Kings made things interesting after Ruzicka's goal looking like the dagger with a nice one-timer from Doughty to Adrian Kempe scoring late in the third. The Flames snuck away with the win after surviving a sloppy ending. Lindholm and Toffoli both posted 3 points apiece, so they will definitely be the guys to watch heading into the Flames' 6-game East Coast field trip, starting in Tampa Bay and finishing in Florida, but this time it's against the Panthers. The Calgary Stampeders led the CFL with 8 All-Star selections. After a mediocre finish to the season, the Stamps managed to pull 8 All-Star selections because of some fantastic individual performances throughout the year. Stars include heavy hitters like 33-year-old offensive lineman Derek Dennis, who allowed the fewest sacks in the CFL this year. And Stampeders golden boy Kadeem Carey made the cut, leading the league in rushing yards by a massive margin with 1,088 yards. If the Stamps had a team of just those two, maybe they would have made the Grey Cup.
Such a shame to see the season end the way it did. But not a shame is the weather. Let's look at the weather with Will.
Yes, so tonight we see a low of -14 with some snow. And again, throughout that week, that sun starts to show up, which is awesome, because I think we all prefer to look at the sun than the clouds. And those temperatures even get nicer, with Monday being that high of +5. And after that, it's kind of just a coin flip. So yeah, I'm personally a big fan of the weather coming up.
It does look good, doesn't it?
Yeah, you gotta love it. This time of year, I'm getting ready for the holiday season, so I'm not really used to it. But anyway, thank you for joining us today at St. Newsfile. It's been a pleasure. I hope you all have a great night. Thank you.